6 months from now, you'll either be the same person, living the same patterns, or you'll be someone you barely recognize, in the best way possible. Carl Jung discovered the exact process that determines which one you'll be. He called it individuation, and he mapped out precisely how your mind transforms when you stop fighting it and start working with it. Not in years or decades, in months. Jung understood something most therapists won't tell you. Real change doesn't happen gradually. It happens in sudden leaps when you hit specific breaking points. Here's what's different about Jung's approach. You don't change by adding things to your life. You change by bringing together what's already there, waiting in your unconscious, trying to transform you. The next 6 months are going to pass anyway. The question is, will you use them to become who you really are? Why most people never change. Here's why most people never truly change. They try to fix their life without changing their mind. They rearrange outside stuff, new job, new relationship, new city, but carry the same inner patterns everywhere they go. Jung saw this constantly. People came to him having tried everything, different careers, partners, lifestyles, but nothing changed because they were the problem. They dragged their unconscious patterns into every new situation, creating the same problems over and over. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You leave a toxic job only to find the same dynamics at the new one. You end a bad relationship only to attract the same type of person with a different face. You move across the country only to recreate the same life you were escaping. Jung's insight was revolutionary. You don't change your life by changing your circumstances. You change your life by changing your relationship with your unconscious. Because your unconscious is running 95% of the show. Until you make it conscious, you're just a puppet thinking you're in control. But here's what nobody tells you. Your unconscious doesn't want you to stay stuck. It's actively trying to transform you. Those patterns that keep repeating, they're not punishments, they're messages. Those problems you keep having, they're not roadblocks, they're solutions trying to happen. That life that feels wrong, it's your mind screaming for transformation. Months 1 to 2, meeting your shadow. Jung said, you can't change what you can't see. So the first 2 months are about making the unconscious conscious, specifically meeting your shadow. Your shadow isn't your bad side. It's every part of yourself you've rejected to be acceptable. The anger you buried to be nice. The ambition you hid to be humble. The sensitivity you pushed down to be strong. All of it went into your shadow, and from there, it's controlling your life. Here's Jung's method for mapping your shadow in 60 days. First, track your triggers for 2 months. Write down every strong emotional reaction you have to other people. That person who makes you furious, that trait you can't stand, that behavior that makes you irrationally angry. These aren't observations about others. They're your shadow showing itself. The arrogant person you hate is showing you your buried confidence. The needy person who disgusts you is revealing your rejected vulnerability. The selfish person who triggers you is pointing to your ignored self-care. Your triggers are your shadow's GPS coordinates. Second, track your projections. Notice when you're absolutely certain someone else is wrong, bad, or problematic. The stronger your conviction, the more likely you're projecting. Jung discovered we don't see others clearly. We see our unconscious stuff projected onto them like movie screens. Third, examine your admiration. Your shadow isn't just negative traits. It's also positive qualities you've given away. The people you put on pedestals, the qualities you admire but think you could never have. That's your golden shadow. You've projected your own potential onto others. For these 2 months, you're not trying to change anything. You're just mapping. By the end of month 2, you'll have a complete map of your unconscious material. Months 3 to 4, integration through dialogue. Now that you've mapped your shadow, months 3 and 4 are about integration. Jung's approach here was revolutionary. You don't fight your shadow or try to eliminate it. You talk with it. You befriend it. You integrate it. This is where Jung's technique of active imagination becomes essential. You're going to have actual conversations with the parts of yourself you've rejected. This sounds crazy until you do it and discover these parts have intelligence, have reasons, have gifts you desperately need. Here's how it works. Take one shadow aspect you've identified. Let's say your rejected anger. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and let this anger take a form in your imagination. Maybe it appears as a fire, a warrior, a child having a tantrum. Don't control it. Let it show itself. Then talk to it. Ask, why are you in my life? What do you need me to know? What gift are you trying to give me? And listen. Really listen. Not with your logical mind, but with your heart. Jung did this with his own shadow and discovered something profound. His rejected aggression wasn't trying to make him violent. It was trying to give him the power to set boundaries. Month 4 is about practical integration. You take these shadow qualities and express them in small, controlled ways. The person who rejected anger practices setting firm boundaries. The one who buried ambition takes one small step toward a personal goal. You're not becoming your shadow. You're reclaiming the energy trapped in it. Months 5 to 6, the death and birth. The final 2 months are where everything changes. Jung called this the activation of the transcendent function, where your conscious and unconscious mind stop fighting and start working together to birth a new you. By month 5, something remarkable happens. The tension between who you've been and who you're becoming reaches a breaking point. Your old identity can't hold all this new material. Your ego structure starts to crack. This is terrifying and exactly what needs to happen. Jung called it the death of the ego. Not literal death, but the death of your false self so your true self can emerge. Month 5 is about holding this tension without trying to fix it. You're simultaneously the person you've always been and the person you're becoming. You hold both without choosing. This creates unbearable pressure, like being pregnant with yourself. Jung discovered that when you maintain this tension without escaping into old patterns, your mind does something miraculous. It creates a third option. A new identity that includes everything you've been but goes beyond it. Month 6 is when the new you forms. Jung called this the birth of the self, capital S. Not a better version of your ego, but a completely different organizing principle for your mind. You stop being driven by what others think, what society expects, what your past programmed. You start being driven by something deeper, truer, more essentially you. This isn't gradual, it's sudden. One day in month 6, you wake up and realize you're different at a cellular level. Jung experienced this himself and wrote, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." The point of no return. Jung discovered something that should both terrify and excite you. Around month 4, transformation becomes irreversible. You hit what he called the point of no return. This is why most people sabotage their growth around month 3. They sense the point of no return approaching and panic. You'll know you're approaching this when everything in your life starts breaking down. Relationships that worked with your old self stop working. Jobs that fit your false identity become unbearable. This isn't failure, it's success. Your old life is dying because it was built on a false foundation. But once you pass the point of no return, the transformation completes itself. You don't have to force anything. Your decision. This isn't about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about becoming yourself for the first time. The next 6 months are going to pass whether you transform or not. You'll either be sitting here 6 months from now with the same patterns, same problems, same sense that you're living the wrong life, or you'll be someone you can barely remember not being. Are you willing to let who you've been die so who you're meant to be can live? 6 months. That's all it takes to change everything. Not through force, but through integration. Not through doing more, but through becoming whole. The clock starts when you decide it does. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe not just for more content, but to join a growing space where truth, healing, and self-discovery matter. This is Psyche Thera, and your journey is just beginning.